The weight of tomorrow. The hotel room was quiet, save for the distant sounds of Medicine Hat settling into evening, a wagon rattling past, voices from the saloon 3 doors down, the creak of floorboards as someone moved in the room above. Sarah sat in the wooden chair by the window, watching the last daylight fade from the sky, turning it from gold to rose to deepening blue. Thomas had finally fallen asleep in the narrow bed, his small body curled tight, one hand clutching the edge of the blanket the way he used to when he was younger. The fear hadn't left his face even in sleep. Sarah had sat with him for an hour, stroking his hair, singing the old songs their mother used to sing when storms came or nightmares woke them. Eventually, exhaustion had claimed him, and she'd been able to slip away. Now she sat alone with her thoughts, and they were heavy. Her father might die. The words had weight now, substance. She'd seen him on that table, pale as death, the wound in his side angry and weeping. She'd smelled the carbolic acid and the underlying rot of infection. Dr. Harrison's words echoed in her mind. The next 24 to 48 hours will tell us everything. A soft knock at the door pulled her from her thoughts. She rose, crossed the small room, opened the door a crack. Daniel stood in the hallway, hat in his hands, his expression uncertain. "I shouldn't have come," he said quietly. "I know it's not proper, but I needed to see that you were all right." Sarah glanced back at Thomas, still sleeping soundly. Then she stepped into the hallway, pulling the door nearly closed behind her. "I'm glad you came," she said. They stood in the narrow hallway, close enough that she could see the worry in his eyes, the exhaustion in the set of his shoulders. He'd been awake for days, just like the rest of them. Fighting, riding, keeping watch while her father's life hung in the balance. "How is he?" Daniel asked. "The same. Mother won't leave his side. She says she'll know when the fever breaks, that she'll feel it." Sarah's voice caught slightly. "I think she's willing him to live through sheer determination. If anyone can do that, it's your mother." Daniel reached out, hesitated, then took her hand. His palm was warm, calloused from work. "And how are you?" The question, asked with such genuine concern, nearly undid her. Sarah felt the careful control she'd been maintaining all day begin to crack. "I don't know," she admitted. "I keep thinking about what Dr. Harrison said, that we might have waited too long, that if we'd brought him in sooner." "You did everything right," Daniel said firmly. "You got him here. You faced down those robbers on the road. You kept Thomas together when he was falling apart. Sarah, you've been strong for everyone. You don't have to be strong right now." The kindness in his voice was what did it. Sarah felt tears she'd been holding back since the surgery began to fall. Daniel pulled her close, and she let herself lean into him, let herself feel the fear and exhaustion she'd been pushing down. They stood like that for a long moment, her face pressed against his shoulder, his arms solid around her. "Come with me," Daniel said quietly. "Just for a little while. Thomas is sleeping, and you need to rest too." "Where?" "I have a room down the hall. Nothing improper. I just want you to have a place where you can let go for a few minutes, where you don't have to watch Thomas or think about tomorrow." Sarah pulled back enough to look at him. There was nothing but honest concern in his face, no expectation or demand. Just the offer of refuge. She nodded. Daniel's room was similar to hers, small, plain, with a narrow bed and a single chair. But it felt different, perhaps because it was a space that wasn't weighted with Thomas's fear or her own desperate vigilance. Daniel lit the lamp on the small table, then turned to face her. "I've been thinking about what you said," he began. "About how we might not have tomorrow. About how everything could change in the next few hours." "Daniel, let me finish." He stepped closer, his hands finding hers again. "I know this isn't the time. I know we're in the middle of a crisis, and your father is fighting for his life, and there are men out there who want to kill us all. But that's exactly why I need to say this now." Sarah's heart was beating faster. "Say what?" "That I love you. That I have for months now, probably since that first day you came to our homestead looking for help. That I want to build a life with you, whatever that looks like. Whether we're rich from the mine or poor as church mice, whether we're homesteading or running from the consortium for the rest of our lives, I want all of it, as long as it's with you." The words hung in the air between them, honest and raw. "I love you too," Sarah said, her voice barely above a whisper. I think I have since you first stood beside me when I was terrified and alone. You've never wavered, Daniel. Not once. He cupped her face in his hands, his thumb brushing away a tear she hadn't realized had fallen. Then let's stop waiting for the right time. There might not be a right time. There's just now. When he kissed her, it was different from the brief kiss they'd shared before. This was deeper, more urgent, carrying all the fear and hope and desperate need to feel alive in the face of death. Sarah kissed him back with equal fervor, her hands finding the front of his shirt, pulling him closer. They broke apart, both breathing hard. "Sarah," Daniel said, his voice rough, "if you want to go back to your room, I understand. I won't." She kissed him again, cutting off his words. When she pulled back, she met his eyes steadily. "I don't want to go back. Not yet. I want to be here with you. I want to feel something other than fear and grief, even if it's just for a little while." "Are you sure?" "I'm sure." They moved to the bed, sitting side by side at first, then lying down together as Daniel pulled her close. Sarah rested her head on his chest, listening to the steady beat of his heart. His arms came around her, holding her securely. "Just rest," he murmured into her hair. "I've got you." For a few minutes, they simply lay there, the comfort of physical closeness gradually easing the tension from Sarah's body. But as Daniel's hand traced slow circles on her back, as she felt the warmth of him beneath her cheek, something shifted. Sarah lifted her head, meeting his eyes in the lamplight. What she saw there, desire tempered with tenderness, passion held in check by respect, made her breath catch. "Daniel," she said quietly, "I meant what I said about not wanting to wait anymore." His hands stilled on her back. "Sarah, we don't have to." "I know we don't have to. I want to." She reached up, touching his face. "Tomorrow my father might die. Tomorrow the consortium might come back. Tomorrow everything we're fighting for might be taken away. But tonight, right now, I want this. I want you. I want to choose something for myself. Something that's ours." Daniel searched her face for a long moment, then nodded slowly. "Then I'm yours," he said simply. "For as long as you'll have me." When he kissed her again, there was a new quality to it, a letting go of restraint, an acknowledgement of what they both wanted. Sarah responded in kind, her hands moving to the buttons of his shirt as his found the pins in her hair. They undressed each other slowly, reverently, discovering each other in the soft lamplight. There was nervousness. Sarah had never done this before, and she suspected from Daniel's careful movements that he hadn't either. But there was also tenderness and a growing urgency that overrode uncertainty. Daniel paused, his hand on her waist, her chemise the last barrier between them. "Are you certain?" he asked one more time. "I'm certain," Sarah said, and meant it. What followed was both awkward and beautiful. Fumbling moments giving way to instinct. Initial discomfort transforming into something deeper. They learned each other through touch and whispered words, through the language of bodies discovering intimacy for the first time. Sarah had expected pain, and there was some, but there was also wonder. The feeling of being completely connected to Daniel, of choosing this moment of joy amid all the fear and uncertainty. His hands were gentle but sure, his kisses trailing fire across her skin. When he moved above her, his eyes never left hers, and she saw in them everything she felt, love and desire, and the desperate need to hold on to this moment, to make it real and lasting. Afterward, they lay tangled together, both breathing hard, sweat cooling on their skin. Daniel pulled the blanket over them, then gathered her close again, her head on his shoulder. "I love you," he murmured into her hair. "I love you too," Sarah whispered back. They dozed for a while, exhaustion finally claiming them both. But even in sleep, they remained entwined, as if letting go would mean losing this fragile piece they'd found. When Sarah woke, the lamp had burned low and the room was nearly dark. Daniel was still asleep beside her, his arm draped across her waist. For a moment, she let herself simply be, not the daughter of a dying man, not the sister responsible for a traumatized child, not the homesteader facing impossible odds, just Sarah, lying beside the man she loved. But reality couldn't be held at bay forever. Through the thin walls, she heard the church bell toll 9 o'clock. Thomas would be all right for a while longer, but she couldn't stay away all night, and her mother might need her. She shifted carefully, trying not to wake Daniel, but his eyes opened immediately. "You have to go," he said. It wasn't a question. I should check on Thomas, and Mother might have news about Father. Daniel nodded, then caught her hand as she started to rise. Sarah, I meant everything I said. This wasn't just, I want you to know that. I know. She leaned down, kissed him softly. This wasn't just anything for me either. This was us choosing each other, no matter what comes next. They dressed in comfortable silence, helping each other with buttons and laces. When Sarah was ready to leave, Daniel walked her to the door, then pulled her into one more embrace. I'll be here, he said. Whatever you need, whenever you need it. You're not alone in this. Neither are you, Sarah replied. She slipped back into the hallway, checked that no one had seen her leaving Daniel's room, then returned to her own. Thomas was still asleep, his breathing steady and even. Sarah sat in the chair by the window again, but everything felt different now. She had chosen something for herself. In the midst of chaos and fear, she had claimed a moment of joy, of connection, of love. Whatever happened with her father, whatever the consortium did next, she would face it differently now. Not as someone alone, but as someone who had been truly seen and loved and chosen. The weight of tomorrow was still there, still heavy. But now there was something else too. A thread of hope, fragile but real, woven through with passion and promise. A soft knock at the door made her start. She rose, opened it to find her mother standing in the hallway. Eleanor's face was drawn with exhaustion, but there was something different in her eyes. The fever broke, Eleanor said, her voice trembling slightly. An hour ago. He's still weak, terribly weak, but Dr. Harrison says if there's no relapse, he'll live. Sarah felt tears spring to her eyes, tears of relief this time, not fear. She pulled her mother into a fierce embrace, and Eleanor held her just as tightly. He's asking for you, Eleanor said when they finally separated. Both of you. Can you wake Thomas? Sarah nodded, already moving toward the bed. As she gently shook her brother awake, as she watched his face transform from fear to hope when she told him the news, she felt the future shift again. Her father would live. She and Daniel had chosen each other. The consortium was still out there, still dangerous, but they had survived the night. Tomorrow would bring its own challenges. But tonight, for the first time in weeks, Sarah Mackenzie allowed herself to believe that tomorrow might actually come. And that when it did, they would face it together. All of them, bound by love and choice and the fierce determination to survive. She took Thomas's hand, and together they walked down the hallway toward their father's room, toward whatever came next.
Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures. Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures.